Hi, this is Kathy, and today we're having a question and answer session about cleansing. We've all had friends or other people, maybe movie stars, that you've heard about going on a cleanse. And maybe you've done it, maybe you haven't. I've done some other videos that have been a lot about all the basics of what I do, why I do it, so I'm not going to repeat that part. Today, what I thought I would do is just go over some of the key questions that people tend to ask me. They want to do a cleanse, they understand what it's about, what the structure is. I normally suggest that folks that are new to cleansing do a 6 or 7 day cleanse, and I outline that both in my book and a free guide that I'll tell you about at the end of our time together today. So the questions that I get are, what if I don't have a juicer? What I say there is there's a couple of options. Number one is that you can buy your juice. There are a lot of companies now, and there are more and more all the time, that are offering juice cleanses. And they often will have a package that might be a 2 or 3 day cleanse. And so that would suffice for the juices. And you could do that. I actually highly recommend you make your own juice if you can. That just gets you in the habit of how easy it is. It costs you a little less, and those vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients are fresh out of the plant, not sitting there for even a few hours. It does start to oxidize a little bit. So to buy your juices, to borrow a juicer, if you're doing a 6 to 7 day cleanse, I'd say borrow the juicer for the week. That way you can have juices in the morning, which is often on the plans that I've outlined. So those are good options for you. If for any reason you've had juice and you just do not like it, I would suggest that you skip that part. Why I include it though is that juice is a great way of getting a lot of nutrients in. As soon as you even are swishing it in your mouth, some of those are being absorbed, and it helps you start feeling better and detoxifying because of the amount of live enzymes, phytonutrients, and such that are in there. So there's a reason I included them. And with all of this stuff, it's flexible. I wrote the book and the guide to give people a plan that they could follow, and I encourage people to adjust if you need to. Now, if you're in the Portland area, Portland Juice Company is a great company. They make cold pressed raw juices, so they are not heated up at all, and they're good for up to 3 days. And they are giving anybody who joins our cleanse 15% off. So if you're in the area and you're part of my cleanse group that's on Facebook, that's a paid group, just let me know and I can send you one of those coupons so that you can go ahead and purchase either their standard cleanse or their do-it-yourself detox that they have. So if you're not in Portland, there are a lot of companies that offer similar things, so I would check into what's around you. Raw, cold pressed is ideal, but other things would be okay. I just want to point out that juice that you make is very different than something sold in a can like V8 juice, or even some of the companies that make some juices that sit on the shelves for quite some time that maybe have been pasteurized. That's why they have a longer shelf life. Those juices are not going to have as many phytonutrients, but if you can find a local juice company, you could even go there once a day and you know, pick up your juice that you're going to have for the morning and that for the next couple days. In the guide and the book, I also talk about the very first day we normally all do miracle juice. That does not require a juicer, but it's something that you can make quite easily. The other question I get is, what if I don't have a blender? And once again, that's something that you could go out and buy. You could buy a blender, or you could buy your smoothies. and get them often from a similar place that maybe gives you the juice. It depends, but you can Google your town and say smoothies. What you want to know there, though, is that they're putting in fresh ingredients, not just frozen stuff that has other chemicals or sugars or additives in it. So that's why I've created the guide and the book that have how you can make your own smoothies. Now, ideal is to have a high-speed blender, but if you don't have that, you can certainly get by with a regular blender for smoothies. That is not an issue at all. So another thing you could do is borrow one. Often people have a blender, or you might check on Craigslist for either the juicer or the blender. It's ideal to have both of those, but you can do a raw cleanse with just a knife and a cutting board if you really want to. It would entail a lot of chewing, and that might actually get to be a little bit hard. However, it is still very possible. Basically, you're going to be eating raw foods that are not cooked, denatured, or heated, and you could get apples, oranges, bananas, cherries, celery, carrots, you know, just be doing those things. By breaking it down, it helps concentrate it, makes it a little easier for us to get it in our bodies, a little less hard on the teeth and gums with chewing all the time. But here again, it is possible, and if you're part of the group and you have more specific questions, I can certainly help guide you on how to make any of these adjustments. Another real popular question is people who are really active. They want to stay active, and so what you can do is skip one day of activity, then start the second day at 50%, then go up to 35% or 75% of your regular activity, and then by day 4 go up to what you're normally doing before. You don't want to suddenly increase, and you might be feeling so good that you might feel like it, but your bones and your body and your joints and things are probably not used to it. So you wouldn't want to suddenly go from one like inactivity to, you know, starting to jog, unless you're further along in a cleanse, maybe a good into the first week at least, and then really start gradually, like I would recommend whether you're on a cleanse or not. Because avoiding injury is the most important thing, because you want to keep working out. So by going slow, listening to your body, definitely having a shake or juice right after you have any kind of workout is advisable to help hydrate you and replace those calories that you've burned during your workout. What if I don't like certain foods? Like you might notice my necklace here, it says I love kale. Not everybody loves kale, and so if you don't like kale in any of the recipes, you can normally substitute spinach, and it's a little bit more mild. When you make a shake and it has kale in it, it's amazing, especially if you have a high-speed blender, how much it purees it. And I have tried to find the flavor of the kale in there, but not been able to find it. So I would suggest at least trying it, maybe starting with half the amount recommended, seeing if it's something that you like or not. And if you don't like it, change it. That's really important, because you want to be having foods that taste good to you. Because otherwise it sort of feels like, you know, you're taking medicine. I mean, and by that I mean medicine where you're like, oh, you know, don't really want to take it down. Other people might have need to avoid the nightshades, or need to be on an elimination diet, or a lot of other things. That's where, once again, the support group is going to be the best way to talk through those things. I'm happy to support folks, but to tell everybody all the options for everything when I don't know yet who our audience is, it's a little bit difficult to go into all of that, and it really does vary based on the person quite a bit. And then how to cleanse. In the guide and in the book, we talk about that pretty much you're starting with Miracle Juice day 1. And then I'm going to say if you're a new cleanser, you're going to be doing juice for at least 2 or 3 days. And then transition to smoothies for about 2 days. And then we add in nuts and seeds. And I've got a lot of recipes that have, typically towards the end, you're still having a juice in the morning, maybe a smoothie for lunch. And these are big. They're normally 32 ounces. You need that many ounces to get enough calories. You basically, when you're juicing, want to get 32 ounces 4 to 5 times a day. So that's a lot of juice. Similar with the smoothies as well. And then when you add in other nuts and seeds, you can kind of reduce how much you need because those have more calories in them. So it's to take that progression of going from juice to smoothies and salads and then adding in foods. And we have things like zesty raw tacos is one of my favorites. There's also a pesto pasta, a zucchini pasta that's really good. And in the book, I know there's a soup. I don't think in the guide we have the soup, but there are a lot of options. You can also Google, you can use the blogs that I refer to in the book to find other recipes, or we can talk in the group if you want other recipes. If what you have in front of you is not seeming to meet your needs, we can adjust that. And there's lots. There's probably more than 1,000 juice recipes, although over time they start getting a little similar. Maybe, they put 1 or 2 more leaves of kale in something, or a little bit more lemon, something like that. The other thing is, another great question is, should I make my juices all at once or make them as I go? And that's a personal choice. If you're working, you're going to need to make them at least for covering the time for breakfast and on through till you get home from work. If you put lemon in the juices, and a lot of the recipes we have that, it helps preserve the juice. If you're sensitive to lemon, however, you can go without it. And maybe a little ginger, if you can tolerate that, will also help preserve the juice. Juice that you make yourself is normally going to be good for 24 hours. So when you make it all at once, the good news is that you only have to clean your juicer once. So a lot of people like that. They might be home and maybe they could actually do it juice by juice, but it is convenient in that sense. So if that matches your personality and what's going to work better for you, you can go ahead and do that. I recommend, rather than making a big vat of juice that's all, everything all lumped together, is having some different juices to kind of signify each meal or snack. So I might start off with something that's more of a green juice in the morning, like lemon ginger blast, that's got apple, celery, I think, and kale and lemon and ginger in it. That's a great way to start the day. You might want like an orange with carrot and ginger juice for lunch, and maybe some watermelon juice or mint cucumber. Those are recipes and things that we have. So to have the different colors, some of the different flavors is a healthy and a good thing. But if you're somebody who really likes fresh and is going for optimal healing versus convenience, you can also make your juices as you go and then just drink them once you've finished. Myself and my good friends Ayla and Jeanette, though, that we recommend actually if you clean your juicer before or while you're starting to drink your juice, it's a smart thing because it's easier to clean it when it is not sat there for a while. It'll just rinse off pretty easily, and it's normally not that big of a deal. So I hope that's answered a lot of your questions. If you have other questions, let me know, and you can post those below. I will post this both on Facebook and in our group for the people that are in the support cleanse group that starts on actually not too much further from now, 6 days from now. June 20th. Sorry, when I talk for long periods of time, and I had to close the window because there was some noise out on the street. It's kind of a hot day, so I'm missing the breeze, but hopefully you can hear me okay. One of the things I wanted to do, I'm just going to peek and see, is to share with you. I don't know if that went over. So I am not. Okay, I think I've got it. Yeah. I'm going to share with you the link to the page that shows you the guidebook. The guidebook is in my e-store. It's free. It's a great sample of recipes and some tips and hints. It's 15 pages long. The guide is meant for use with the Portland Juice Company or other juices that you might buy. So it has the miracle juice recipe and then kind of insert juices that you would buy. And then it transitions to salads and smoothies and some other, as I mentioned, gourmet type raw foods that you'll really enjoy. I try to keep it simple where it's not fancy foods that require fancy equipment, because I figure a lot of people often are brand new to this. They're trying it out. People, though, feel normally really good on a cleanse. Those first 3 days might be a little bit tougher, especially if you're coming off of coffee. That could take a little withdrawing from, but I've had 100% of my people in my last cleanse last spring say that they would do a cleanse again. Some people got more benefits than others. Sometimes I get more benefits than others. It almost seems like the healthier I am and the better I'm eating, which is good, the less dramatic a cleanse might be for me. So I look forward to working with you, answering any other questions that you might have. Go get the guide and enjoy it, and stay in touch. Let me know if you want to be part of our group. It starts on June 20th. It will go through July 20th. So if you're a newbie and you're doing 6 or 7 days, you can join up any point in that time. So thank you for your time. Happy cleansing, everybody. Bye-bye.